La noche se acabó, pero tengo otra ya contigo. Le doy gracias a Dios, siempre pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Siempre lo pasamos bien lindo, lindo. Un verano contigo lindo, lindo. Me fui de vacaciones, baby, me perdí, buscando el sabor que encontré en ti. Canela con dolor de Bacardi, lo sentí, baby, me tiene desenfocado, viendo doble, bien borracho, demasiado jodido contigo. Pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito, bonito, un día bonito, bonito. Pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot.
Okay, let's try that again. Can everyone hear me now? Let me oh gosh, let me see. All right, you can hear me now. Oh my goodness. First of all, let me just apologize. I was so focused on my slides that I literally was not looking at the chat for like a good 10 minutes. I am so sorry about that. If you are watching this on replay, just know what happened was that I started the podcast, the sound was not on, and I talked for a good 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, I am so terribly sorry. Now I'm just gonna have to do my Slay intro all over again. Thank you so much also, by the way, for everybody that was giving super chats and super like I did not see. That is so annoying. Oh, anyway, it happens. Thankfully, it hasn't happened for a while. Oh, sorry, folks. Oh my gosh. What can I say? What can I say? Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying for like 20 minutes, even though you couldn't hear me. Oh my god. So, yes. I was not expecting this whole Brooke Shields thing to blow up the way it did. But I think the reason it's blown up is the hate at this point is just so forced. It is so forced. So just to recap, if you haven't watched the video where Brooke Shields sat down with India Hicks, the goddaughter of King Charles, and I think that in itself kind of adds a layer to this, the video has now been deleted. Brooke falsely retold what happened at the women's conference that they were at. Now, I'm not going to play Brooke Shields' video or the conference video just in case I get, hit by the copyright police. But if you want to go and watch the original video at SXSW, at the 6-minute 10 mark, Katie Couric, who was moderating the panel, asked Meghan to retell her story about the whole dishwasher commercial when Meghan was 11 and wrote the letter. Katie asked her to tell that story. Meghan tells the story. It takes her about 50 seconds. And then Brooke goes, oh, when I was 11, I was, playing a prostitute. But the way Brooke told the story, it was like, oh, she interrupted Meghan because Meghan was being too precious. Meghan was being too this, that, and the third. I agree with Miss America here on her comment saying, I think that Brooke got triggered by hearing about a safe and nurturing childhood as M's story reflects. So she spurt that out to relieve her own insecurities. Now she's going on the podcast to paint it in a better light and name drop Meghan, but being unhealed isn't cute or funny. Indeed, I 100% believe that this was Brooke's own personal insecurities coming out. Her insecurities about her own childhood, mirroring that with Meghan's. I think there's this assumption that if you are black or brown, that you come from dysfunction. Like dysfunction was normalized to you. Some people really do have that idea in their heads. So when they see anything other than that, it makes them very uncomfortable. Instead of questioning their own biases that they're projecting onto you, when you don't match that bias, now you become a problem. Now you're the uppity brown person who's doing too much. Now I feel bad because you're meant to be below me, but that's not the case. We're actually very equal, or you're even better than me. I think that Brooke was incredibly triggered. Thank you so much, Leslie. Just a good little cocktail break. I'm glad you could grab a cocktail. Kevin, Brooke Shields was just intoxicated. Intoxicated with envy, for sure. I don't know if she had actually been drinking, but she was intoxicated with jealousy. It's just insane why she felt the need to retell the story in that way. She could have come on that India Hicks podcast and been like, well, it was a great conference. We spoke about women's empowerment. Meghan told her story. But she couldn't do that. Oh, somebody said Feminagra did an article. Yes, please do go check out is it Feminagra? Brilliant website. They've been doing some great articles about Meghan and the royals, but they focus a lot on women's empowerment in general. Yeah, Brooke apparently didn't watch herself back. And what's even crazy about this is that it was a year ago. But she decided to come on this India Hicks podcast. Now, India Hicks, I didn't really know anything about her. But her and Brooke wanted to use Meghan's name to make themselves go viral. Okay, we'll make them go viral. We will remind you of that time when you stole an 800-pound designer coat from Harrods, a whole aristo stealing from Harrods. Asset rich, cash poor, right? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Should have gone to TK Maxx, sis. Also, in Karen's being ridiculous news, Meghan the Kelly, she did a whole video rant about Meghan's dancing video. It was the most cringe and ridiculous thing you have ever seen. She started waffling on about how, it's disrespectful to the sanctity of pregnancy and that private moment. She was given a second by second commentary. Now Meghan's dancing. Now you see her twerking. I mean, it was just the most ridiculous thing. And she got dragged in her own comment section. I went all the way down the comments. 95% of them were like, this is ridiculous. The video was funny. You're doing too much. What's the obsession with Meghan? Did you all see that video when Don Lemon told Meghan Kelly to tell her husband to stop focusing on Don's husband because it's weird? I think that Meghan Kelly should be focusing on her husband and her kids, okay? You've got your own husband and your own kids. And if you were really happy, you would be focusing on them and not using Meghan for clickbait. This video, by the way, that she did on TikTok got 2 million views and over 12,000 comments. It's her most watched video in a while. I think the second most watched with about 1 million views was about Elon and Trump. And I wonder how it feels for Meghan Kelly to know that she needs to put Meghan on her mouth to get any amount of decent traction. That people really are not interested in Meghan Kelly anymore. That Fox payout, was it not enough to fund your lifestyle? You're still out. Now you're out here doing this. Foolishness. Absolute foolishness and desperation of the Meghan Kellys and the Brooke Shields of the world. I hope that Meghan does not extend an olive branch to Brooke Shields. Let her cook. Do not invite her over. No crepe, no jams, no nothing. Let her cook. And keep telling your dishwasher commercial story. Tell it 1 million times, Meghan, so that 1 million other little girls can know that they're powerful also. Tell that story as many times as you want. In other idiots being foolish news, Sofa Chandauka, now nobody really knows what the status of Sentebale is right now, what's going on. There doesn't really seem to be any local journalism or anybody on the ground talking about what's going on. I don't know if any of, the people on the ground are getting any money, getting any services. If anybody has details about that, maybe I haven't seen it, please do let me know. If anybody is listening to this and you are on the ground, please do email me. Message me on Insta or Twitter, wherever. But in the last 24 hours, the Sentebale Twitter posted, double your impact. This week, we count down to the day of the African child on June 16th. And they're now asking for donations. And someone posted, shame on you, Sophie Jandauka. Sentebale has never begged for funds online until now. Return the charity to its rightful owners. This is the woman who came out here and made it out like she had the secret source, yeah? It would appear that some kind of investigation is going on via the Charity Commission. But that will take a while. It seems like Sophie Chandauka still has some control. And Ian Rawlinson, I think, is still on the board, it would appear. But whoever has control of it right now, it's not the founders. It's not Prince Harry. It's not Prince Ciso, who hasn't actually said anything about this. Sophie went on a whole media tour for a whole week and then just disappeared, went silent. And have you noticed how even the British tabloids, who couldn't wait to jump on this and play the blame game and put everything on Harry are dead silent. In fact, they were done with her pretty much after that Sky interview because they all smell a rat. Her company, Nandi Life Sciences, has also gone offline. I think she's changed a whole bunch of stuff on her LinkedIn page. I think she's blocked comments on her LinkedIn page. The truth is going to come out. And I think it's going to embarrass everybody involved. Rochelle, you said Brooke Shields told a straight up big lie. Exactly. What was the need? What was the need? The way the jealousy just comes out of these people, I think they just cannot get over the fact that before Meghan came in to the unroyal mafia, nobody ever said anything bad about her. No one. And I think they are just having a hard time to believe that this woman just has such a clean record. A lot of people do. A lot of people just live very quiet, wholesome lives. If that triggers you, that's a you problem. Please go and heal. Go and heal. It's not somebody else's fault that you didn't have a good childhood. Don't take it out on other people. Brooke Shields need to go talk to her mother that was pimping her out to Hollywood. Don't sit there being triggered by Meghan. Helen, India Hicks was Princess Diana's bridesmaid. Despicable, thieving woman. Indeed she is. British aristocrats can't afford to fix their $1 million estates. Yeah. Meghan Kelly has lost her damn mind, and to think this was the same woman who interviewed a woman who found out her mama was half black. Why was it worth interviewing someone just because she found out she was biracial? What? I mean, it doesn't surprise me because isn't this the same lady that went on a rant because of a black Santa Claus? Such a weirdo. Like, imagine that being your legacy. Yeah. What does Don Lemon know about Meghan Kelly's husband? We'd all like to know. Something tells me we'll all find out eventually. And whatever that is probably the reason why Meghan Kelly is so salty. Heather, Sentebale has no money because they haven't had a fundraiser in 2 years. All right. On to the next thing. Meghan's award show night at the Natural History Museum has been cancelled due to the LA riots, which fair enough, I guess. It will just be moved to another date. Unfortunate, we won't get to see it and see Meghan. But the flip side of all of this, not that Meghan has to live on somebody else's time or the time of the royals, but it is trooping this weekend. And it would have been a whole thing of Meghan's award show and Trooping of the Colour on the same weekend, and the UK press would have dragged it out. So just as well it's being moved. And respect to those in Los Angeles who are demonstrating. It's getting pretty crazy in the US, some of the things that I'm seeing, the way some of these, ICE agents are behaving. And so respect to people who are trying to push back. No respect to anyone who's just using it as an excuse to mob and riot and loot for no reason. but supporting people who are signing up for democracy and signing up for themselves. And yeah, we will still get the award night with Meghan eventually. Now, it is indeed trooping. It is indeed trooping. So this is the time of the year where we hear endless talk about balconies and who's gonna be on that balcony. Trooping is the king's unofficial birthday. So the king, or the monarch rather, has two birthdays: their actual birthday and then the birthday in June. And it was put on this day in June so that the monarch could have a birthday on a day that was sunny. And it is going to be incredibly sunny this weekend. And because the tabloids just can't let it go, I thought that they were in the final stage of grief, but apparently not. You've got Richard Eden writing silly articles about Harry and Meghan sending a signal that they're going back to the royal family. You've got the Daily Express asking people their say on whether or not Harry should attend Tripping of the Colour. It's like the obsessed ex who just can't get over it. Shout out to whoever did these images, photoshopping as ever products on the balcony and in the carriage. The balcony is wherever Harry and Meghan are. That's going to be one sad trooping balcony, I'll tell you that. All right. One other. Oh, yes. This is another thing. I Am Sage had an interesting theory that the reason Kate doesn't wear her ring sometimes is just to get headlines. Which would make sense because that seems to get more headlines than anything else she does. But is it just not getting exhausting for these people? Is it not just getting exhausting? And she also made a very good point. She said, when Harry was upgrading Meghan's engagement ring and getting more diamonds put on it, the media pushed conspiracy theories that they were divorcing. Kate is making it a point to not wear her engagement ring all the time, and it's labeled as they're more committed than ever. So this is referring to an article that GB News put out saying Princess Kate's displaying commitment to Prince William despite shift away from wearing her engagement ring. That is the weirdest article headline I have ever seen about a woman wearing an engagement ring. Married women are meant to, if they have a ring, if they're choosing to wear a ring, to wear their ring. Why is it a hold on headline? Just say the loud parts out louder, folks. We can already hear it. Don't have to do the most. Just say what we can all see with our own eyes. Those that don't believe in fairy tales can see that this whole thing is a nightmare. I mean, look at William in this picture. Look at him. He looked happier with Jason Noth the other day in Monaco. Very happy looking couple. Dear oh dear. Would also be interesting to see the size of the crowds. Now, let me just check. It is tomorrow. And tomorrow the weather is okay, so there's actually a 60% chance of rain, but it's still warm. It's still very, very warm, and a Saturday. So it will be interesting to see how big the crowds are. Granted, I think the rain might not even come until the evening anyway. So it should be a pretty clear Saturday. But nonetheless, it will be very warm. So, if the crowds are small, they won't be able to say, oh, it's because it was cold or nobody wanted to. No. it will be a very clear showing, I think, of how people feel. So let's see about that. Also, as ever, put in some trademark applications for the hospitality industry, and somehow the media span that into Meghan's opening hotels. Hospitality doesn't necessarily mean hotels. What are these people on? All of these articles for one trademark move. Unfortunately, because of transparency rules, all the trademark stuff has to be open to the public. So they're watching that page and everything as ever is doing. Also, this popped up on my feed. An article from People magazine. Prince Harry's ex Cressida Bonus welcomes baby number 2 after fertility struggles and gives her emotional name. This is so insulting to Cressida and her husband. This woman has long moved on. She's probably sick of you bringing her name up with Prince Harry's every single time. And it's their way of obviously getting traffic to their site. But I'm just like, you know what? If Cressida's name doesn't get traffic on its own, and I don't even think this woman wants the traffic, just leave this lady alone. Leave her alone. Her pregnancy has nothing to do with Prince Harry. But you have to find a way of bringing Prince Harry into an article. So now you're dragging his exes into it as well. It's just so tasteless. And they're just allowed to do this. I don't see Cressida at public events. She's not trying to be a celebrity. Oy. Really, it takes a different kind of backbone, still fortified backbone, to be involved with the British royal family. Kevin, isn't India Hicks related to the sketchy Mountbatten? Yes, she is. I think isn't she the great granddaughter? Wait, hang on a sec. Oh yeah, so her grandparents were Louis Mountbatten, first Earl Mountbatten. Yes, him, that guy. Yes. That's how they're related. Alrighty. I don't think that there was anything else that I needed to mention. So I'm just gonna get through your comments. Thank you everybody that responded to my post. If you go to the the community tab where I post, the last post that I put there was please give feedback. I haven't had a moment to go through all of them, but thank you to everyone who did post. I was quite surprised that so many of you said that you wish that my podcasts were longer. That was the one that shocked me the most, because I'm a very straight to the point podcaster. These are the stories of the day. Let's run through them. So I was quite surprised that you guys feel that my podcasts aren't long enough. But I guess it just shows don't assume anything about your audience. So thank you. It's great to know that you actually want to hear more, but I think my style has always been just, this is what's happening today. Let's talk about it. Lauren, you said can't afford to repair their own homes. Yeah. Some of them, if they have 2 estates, they will rent one out for events. Okay. Yeah, no, Tashma, it hasn't been cancelled. It's going to be rescheduled. Sorry, I used the word cancelled, but rescheduled. Wendy, you said, Sophie said that she had connections and networking. Where are the connections with the money? Indeed. Why is Sentebale now on Twitter asking for money? Electra, you said the UK press is hot. They were so looking forward to it. Indeed, they were. In fact, they were looking forward to it more than anyone else. Now they're going to have to wait. Yeah, it's going to be a balcony full of fossils. They wish Harry and Meghan would come back. They wish. Going into the petty post on the left is funny. Which petty post was that? I have so many petty posts. Where's Kate? Kate did an event with like the boat thing where she had to read 8 lines off of a piece of paper, and then she just disappears when she feels like it. She never wanted to work, and I say work with a small W because the royals don't work. And the absolute bare minimum that they have to do, show up to events, smile and wave, and not prove any amount of impact. And she didn't even want to do that. Rahini, you said, I feel like it might be Kitty's way of forcing Peggy to stay in line. I don't think Kate really has any power. I mean, if she really wanted to do a power move, and turn that entire palace upside down, she could, but I don't think she has the backbone for it. She doesn't. She doesn't have Diana's backbone. There's nothing stopping Kate from calling up somebody at the BBC, calling up Emily Mantis, and saying, I'm gonna spill everything. That would be the best power play and how she'd end up getting the best deal. She's not gonna do that. She doesn't have the backbone. She wants to hang on for as long as possible, but they'll find a way to get rid of her if they want to anyway. I don't believe that William wants to be in this marriage. I believe that she wants the marriage. And I think it would be better for, I think William sees that it would be better for him if he wanted to get out of this marriage, to do it before Charles goes. Rahini, you said, Anne, I feel like you need to go and give us running commentary. How about hosting a squaddy meet? Oh, for Troop. Oh, do you know what? If I wasn't busy on Saturday, I might actually go. But I've got an important family event, so yeah. Yeah. It wouldn't have been do you know, it would have actually not been a bad idea if I did go. Give some on the ground reporting. But not this year, I'm afraid. Maybe next time. Helen, if the crowd is small, they will manipulate it with crowds from years ago. Or when they do the reporting, they'll do what they did last time, right? Where they'll get pictures of crowds from other events. Yeah, Lottie, if Meghan opens a hotel, so what? So what if she does? I'll stay there. Okay. Kevin Sims, you said, I can't believe that baby mama video is still getting millions of views. Yes, indeed it is. I don't know how many views. It's got to be at 100 million views now, no? And she went up by over 700,000 followers. That is insane metrics. Insane. Let me check now. Yeah, she's at 3.8 now. Wow. I mean, do you know how much money you would have to spend on PR to get these level of metrics, you'd be looking at hundreds of thousands, going into 1 million plus. And they might bring out Camilla's kids and grandkids for the balcony. I mean, if they don't want it to be too empty, they're going to have to. Tash, and did you see Baron's podcast last night when he shows footage of Kate reaching for her backside during the museum tour? What? Okay, I'm going to have to watch that. What? Not very royal behavior, is it? By the way, they're trying to make Sophie happen, and it ain't about to happen. This was Sophie at an event unveiling a piece of paper. There was an interesting podcast. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. One of the Rotorats saying, well, she was basically alluding to the palace not doing enough to push the other royals' international tours, royals like Sophie, and them basically desperately trying to make Sophie happen. You know, a lot of these royal Rotorats, they know that the good times are about to stop rolling. You know, the tours, the garden parties, all of this stuff, little by little, is all going to start fading away, and they don't know what they're going to do. Because who's checking for Sophie and Edward? Who? They're barely at this point checking for William and Kate. Camilla and Charles are elderly. They haven't got too long. With the younger royals, it's going to be another decade at least before they're out and about doing stuff. And goodness knows what the state of Britain and the world is going to be at that point. Is anyone going to be interested in what 20-something-year-old George and Charlotte and Louis are up to? And quite frankly, I think it's better for those kids going into adulthood to be told, you're just going to have to get normal jobs and live relatively normal lives anyway. I think that would be better for them. Instead of out here smiling and waving here and there. Heather, you said, I've heard reporters say that they thought Sophie was boring. Yeah. And they know that Sophie, it's not about to happen. Yeah, she's lower than Fetch. I'm sorry, but she is. Truly lower than Fetch. Nobody is checking for her. And we still want to know why she was speeding through London and knocked over someone's grandma. Speeding where? Where was she speeding to? Whatever event where no one showed up and now someone's grandma is dead because she was speeding in her motorcade. Anyway, that's all from me for today. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you, everyone who came back into the podcast. If you're just joining, I had actually started this podcast, was talking for about 20 minutes, did not realize that I was muted, so I had to start again. But do you know what? Just as well, because I feel like version 2 was better than the first one. So thank you as always, folks. Thank you for being patient with me, and I will see you when I next see you. Ciao.
La noche se acabó, pero tengo otra ya contigo. Le doy gracias a Dios, siempre pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol en la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot para ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno vacaciones, baby, me perdí, buscando el sabor que encontré en ti. Canela con dolor de Bacardi, lo sentí, baby, me tiene desenfocado, viendo doble, bien borracho, demasiado jodido contigo. Pasándome contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama. Tú y yo, un día bonito lleno de alcohol. Tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol. Tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot. Un día bonito, bonito. Un día bonito, bonito. Pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama. Solo tú